If he had to make the playoffs, maybe.
Is an eligible receiver. Number 70 is eligible. Number 70 is eligible.
That's right. Number 70 is eligible. He's back in the building. That is Dan Skipper. How y'all doing tonight, man? Sorry about being way late. Way late. Hopefully audio is good. Still trying to fix it. So just yell at me in the chat if we have any problems with audio or video. It's going to take about a week of screwing around with this thing to finally get it set. So there's going to be some times where things are like super loud, super quiet. Video's going to be off, but we'll do our best to get it all back together as quickly as we can. So I did learn how to put a few things on the pads at least. So we're making some headway. What's happening, everybody, man? I hope good day, right? Good day. Got to go to Ford Field today for the Lions loyalty event. And unfortunately, they didn't do the locker room tour. They didn't do the locker room sale. They tried to say that they didn't have any inventory. Like, come on, man. Like, really? But we each got 2 bobbleheads apiece. So I guess that was a good thing. We got some Penei Sewell bobbleheads, a pennant, and some other stuff. You know, just some random stuff. It was a good day, though. I mean, it's always a good time to hang out in Ford Field. And honestly, that's where some things got interesting today. So, as you guys know, one of the biggest calls of the day was Dan Skipper. And that was yours truly. I put it out today, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I don't even remember what time I put it out. It was about 3 hours before anybody else, was told about it. And Skipper was kind of one of the last ones to be talked about. And I'm not going to go into what you think I'm going to go into because I've already talked to a few people about it. Very disappointed in an individual today. I'll just say that I'm very disappointed. And that little troll, man, is he going to catch my wrath one of these days? He's going to catch my wrath. There's a time and a place for everything in life, right? And when you put out some information and it happens to be true and someone's just trashing you all over the place because you got information that they didn't, instead of saying, hey, man, good job. Congratulations, independent media guy. You got something none of us got. Congrats. No, instead, it's the other way. He's not legit. He's a fraud. He's fake and fugazi and all of this other shit, right? And then at the end, you find out it's true, and it's like, wow, insert foot in mouth, buddy. I would have shared the information with you, but instead you're just an asshole. I'm sorry. So not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen next time. That's why that there's very few people that I'll coordinate with. Look, guys, my sources haven't lied to us yet, have they? We've missed out on maybe 2 or 3 calls while I've been doing this, and that's pretty damn good for a guy that doesn't work for Sports Illustrated, ESPN, Fanatics, 33rd Team, any of the other, 3-4 letter names and above, right? No, I work for me, and I cultivate relationships, and that's what has gotten me this far in life. Just disappointing. Because it was a really good day. And when I got that information, here's what made it worse. And I'm not going to go long on this because it's honestly, it's a waste of my time, right? It's stooping to their level. What made it worse is when I guess that dude posted something on Twitter, right? Thanks to Nolan Bianchi for putting this information out there about Dan Skipper. I'm just saying there's proof out there that I was first. Just saying. There's a lot of it out there. Matter of fact, here, we'll show you. We'll just show you. We'll just show you. I hate stooping to people's level, man. I really do. I really do. Because there's a couple of people out there in this space that are They're just different. You know, like I said to some of you guys in the chat today, it's like, I come from the world of each one teach one, man. We pull each other up. We help each other out. We work together. You know, you give people a little bit of respect, but everything is earned, you know. And if you do something to screw me over, you know, shame on me the one time. If I let you do it again, shame on you, but I'll never see you or talk to you again. That's just how I work. And I would never treat somebody like that. Like I would never, ever just go off and start talking crap about people. That's not how I operate. That's high school, man. You got a PhD, psychologist, and you're a shit talker? I wonder how all of your patients are, bro. Like, seriously? Seriously. Probably need a therapist because you're a therapist. Just saying. Probably why you're a writer. Just saying. All right, I'll leave it alone. I do want to show you the Twitter, though, because it got a ton of airplay, man. What I loved about it was how excited people were. But at the same time, they were, oh boy, were they skeptical. You know, they were like, don't do this to my heart. You know, just don't. Right? Will, you better not be trolling. What is wrong with my screen? I see the chat flying. I probably said something, got somebody going. We might have a troll in the chat too. I don't know. I think you guys know me, though. I've always been a pretty good dude, man. I say what I'm going to do, and I do it. And I try to do it to the best of my ability. Haters. Just hate. I guess when you got haters, man, you must be doing something right. Must be doing something right. All right, let's go to the Twitter and let's see what happened today. As soon as I can figure out what I'm doing here. God, I hate Twitter. Like, I'm just starting to get comfortable with Twitter some days, and then I suck. All right, here we go. This one. Yeah, that one. This one. All right, here we go. We'll roll over. We won't take too long on this, but you know what? This is what made a lot of us happy today, man. We got our guy back. You know, and some of the comments, they're crazy. Like, and they obviously were some of the, you know, had to be opposing fan base saying stuff like, I don't know any fan base on this planet that would be rooting for a practice squad guy. Like, they don't get it. They'll never understand what that game meant to us down in Arlington. They'll never understand that Dallas game. They won't get it, right? They won't understand what we've been through and why it's so important for us and why Skip has just been, I mean, he's a glue guy, man. He's an important dude to this team. He's an important dude to this fan base. And even though, you know, I said, hey, he looks a little stiff, he's getting old. You know, he's been in the league for a long time. But that doesn't mean that he can't get up in there and do some things for us, right? Loved it. And the reason why I was so stoked about finding, I'm not even in this damn video. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me okay? I have no confidence if you can hear me now when I'm out of the screen. All right, you got me. Okay. I was ecstatic when I saw this Skipper fanning the flames down, right? Trying to get the fan base to calm down. Because when I said, per my source, right? Now the idiot that was talking trash about me was saying, well, if you use source, it's not legit. It's not right. You have to have two sources. Well, guess what? I have multiple sources. But when you have the source that I have, you only need one, right? You only need one. And if my source is correct, then it doesn't matter if I have 2 or 10. Again, I don't work for you. I do things my way, right? So Dan Skipper, this happened. I put this out several hours ago. This was at 1:13 p.m. This will forever be on Twitter. I got the pictures of it now. It's a win for me, but this is the most I've ever had people engage with my Twitter, which is not much, right? 34,000 views. It's not much, but that was 34,000 people that just got stoked about what was happening. And then if you went to someone reposted it, Detroit, what's his name? Detroit Free Press, somebody reposted it. Hold on. What's his name in here? Where is it? Oh, look, Jimmy. I didn't even see Jimmy Lau posted it. Oh, good for him. Thank you, Jimmy. See, there's a nice dude. There's a nice dude. It was the Detroit Free Press guy. Where's that one at? How do I get back to that? See, I told you, I suck on Twitter. This one right here. The Detroit Times. So he posted it for me. Obviously, tagged me in it like a good dude, man. Thank you. 57,000 views on that one. And look at this guy. Bad source. I wonder who E. King listens to. I don't even know who that is. Bad source. And my comment, how's that source working for you, bro? Huh? Stop watching an actor. We don't act over here. Delete this. He reported as I expected. Nobody other than Will Rock confirms that. Exactly my point, brother. And nobody has my sources. Now, look, I'm not bragging, but what I'm saying is there was some really good stuff in here. Like, did he report? Of course he reported, right? We all knew this was going to happen. Only bandwagon fans who don't know the game didn't. That's right. We expected him back. If you didn't think he was coming back, I don't think you understand the way that this team is operating. But there's some really good comments out there, man. There was some people that were all up in their feelings because of how much it meant to them, and to have a source that got it right makes me happy, right? It makes me happy that every year our trajectory is continuing to go up a little bit here at Rockhound Detroit Lions, man. Rockhound Sports Media is climbing, and that's all we're going to continue to do is climb, right? We're going to drown out the trolls. We're going to drown out the negativity, and we're just going to keep doing what we do best. I don't care, if I was boring, right? If I was boring, we wouldn't have hundreds of people tuning into live streams. And I'm not going to go off and say, that I'm taking pictures of people and I'm signing autographs and doing. Of course, stupid shit happens, right? That's just not what I'm about. That's just not who I'm about. That's not for me. You know what I mean? I'll go hang out at your bar mitzvah or your, I'll go hang out at your kid's graduation. I'm that guy, I'll be seen anywhere you need me to be seen. Kind of guy. I just like hanging with people, man. People are my people. Lions fans are my people. And I love doing what I'm doing. So I'm not going to let these little guys shake me down. I'm wondering, maybe I'll just call SI and just see if I can just get employed, or ESPN or NFL Network, or why not? You know what I mean? Screw it. Give me a platform. Put me on a desk with a mic in a multi-million-dollar budget. How about that? Let's do it. We'll see how far it goes then. And I hate to say this because this has happened my whole life, but just the name alone, people think it's fake. They think my name is fake. So I know just the name alone carries its own weight. It'll take off. That's not what I'm about, though. Again, I'm here doing what I want to do, having my own fun, not working for anybody else, just here doing Lion stuff. So let's get into Lion stuff. What a good day for the Lions. Good day for me. It was a tough day as you're walking, talking, driving, going through Ford Field. Is my video all washed out? Going through Ford Field. So I'm trying to manage the blog, see what's going on Twitter, texting people, getting in the Voxer chat, taking phone calls, managing everything else in life, 500 plus messages in, and it was that kind of a day today. And so if I didn't get something updated right away, oh well, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't sitting at a desk all day today. I was out and about doing stuff. And I think I did a pretty good job for a one-man band. I might have missed a couple of things in the beginning when I didn't have any, service inside Ford Field, because that's still an issue there, and I don't know why. If I was smart, I would have just logged into the media Wi-Fi. But I didn't. I should have. I didn't even think about it till I left. Let me try to fix my video real quick. Why it shouldn't be. My video should not be washed out. It's just time to get a new camera, I think. I looked at one the other day. All right, let me get my article up because well, not really an article. Let me get the practice squad up. And we'll go through some stats. We'll go through my stats. Now, when I put up the 53 and I put up, practice squad predictions, projections, like Eric and I will do, like everybody does. Well, I didn't see anybody else do it, honestly. I didn't see any other writers do it if they put out any practice squad. Did you guys see any practice squad projections? I didn't notice any. I didn't look very hard, but I didn't notice any. But the reason why I do this stuff, man, this is fun to me. And I think part of it helps you reaffirm. It helps you to reaffirm, like, how good of a pulse do you have on the team, right? Do you know your team? Do you really know your team? And if you do, you should have a really good pulse on Dan and Brad and what they're thinking and where this team is going. And if you don't, then you don't. But for me, I feel like I have a pretty good pulse. I feel like I understand the build of the team, the roster, and we've gotten a ton right. Same with the draft. I've hit on 10 draft picks in the last 3 drafts. And so that's why I do it, because it's fun, and I think it gives me a measuring stick, right? It gives me a measuring stick of, am I doing a good enough job? Am I really understanding what's going on with this team? Because why else just sit? I'm not just up here to sit and talk, right? Like, that's just not what this is for me. I want to get things right. I want to be accurate because that's the most important thing. And I also heard that individual say a whole bunch of stuff that I say today, like the word fugazi. We're talking about accuracy, right? And being right. I know when people are listening, you're probably listening right now. You know who you are. Get your own stuff. So it's all about being more accurate. So in the beginning, just like I talk about when you start a new job, you're going to get stuff wrong. I'm not going to get everything right. And that's okay. But the goal is, the point is, I'm still going every single day as hard as I can to try to get stuff right. I'm not going to come up on the mic and be an actor and just say a bunch of crap, repeat myself 50 times. We want to give you good high level and regular layman's terms type stuff. And then I also need to learn myself because I don't know probably 50% of the NFL, to be honest with you. I mean, there's so much that goes on. And there's a big difference between covering a team because it's your job and covering a team because you've been a loyal fan forever and you understand football, coach football, played football, right? Live, eat, breathe football. I mean, it's something that I'm passionate. This is a passion project that's turning into something else. And the passion will always stay there. That has to stay there first and foremost. There's a difference, right? If you get hired on a beat, but you're really not a Lions fan, there's some people that cover the Lions that are not Lions fans. It's kind of different for you, right? If you have never played the game of football, it's kind of different for you. There's only so much you can learn in a classroom or learn at watching a practice, And I would say that there's probably 2 writers so far that I've really seen that know their stuff. And like, I'm not comparing me to them. That's not it at all, because I don't know as much as other people either. There's a lot I don't know, like I said. That's why I'm in the class, man. That's why I signed up for scout school. And I'm always in the class. It never goes away. All right, Lions practice squad, running back Jacob Sailors. About 1:37 p.m. that came out. It was one of the earlier ones. I wasn't surprised with this at all. Here, let me scroll down. Let's start with the beginning of the day. Lions traded Tim Patrick. This was obviously a call from both myself and Eric. So Justin, if you don't like something he does, then gain your credentials and take his job. If you're talking about the guy that I do have credentials. I have NFL media credential. I don't have a Lions credential. That's very difficult to get in. It's very, very difficult. But I do have credentials for other teams this year for away games. So it's easier to get into other teams than it is than my own team, which is crazy. So I do have an NFL media credential. I do. That's why I was at the draft, with a credential. So, and I don't want to work for them. I don't need to, bud. I do my own thing, right? I work for me. But anyway, Tim Patrick. So this was a call, both Eric and I put together the night that I did the Jackson Meeks video. I was talking about Jackson Meeks and hoping that he was going to make this roster. I thought he did enough to make this roster, and he did. He just made the practice squad. But he's on the 69-man. He might be used at some point this year. I hope not, because that means somebody got injured, right? But the fact that he got, in, right, that's great. But in that video, I also discussed Tim Patrick being trade bait. I didn't think that there was going to be an opportunity for the Lions to trade him before the 53-man roster. I thought that it would happen after. And that's exactly what happened. He got traded the very next day. So Tim Patrick and Eric had a very similar call. Well, Eric thought he was going to get traded before, but it doesn't matter. The point is, he thought that Tim Patrick was going to be traded. And so good calls, right? And again, it's the pulse, right, that I think that we have on the team that helps us get some things right to give you guys good, accurate information, or really good, accurate opinions, that turn out to be really great information. So obviously the Jags acquired Tim Patrick. The Lions got a 2026 6th-round pick back. So for any of the 6th-round picks that don't make it, on this squad, I haven't even gone back to evaluate that, but now your Lions got another draft pick back for one of the players that maybe has not worked out, okay? They also brought in a special teams ace, safety Daniel Thomas. 1,184 snaps on special teams is insane in 5 seasons. Insane. From everything that I've read about this guy's an absolute nutcase in special teams. So I'm looking forward to see him. I have not been able to watch a ton of his video yet. I will try to dive into it over the weekend. Lions also brought in 2 defensive linemen, defensive end Tyus Wheat and defensive tackle Tyler Lacey. 12:57 around that time is when that came in. Both of those guys are going to the 53. Both of those guys. Big shout out to Will Carter. Says, dude, I've learned so much from you in this channel. I love your passion and attention to detail and all of the in-depth research and information you provide. So thank you. Keep doing what you do. No, I appreciate you, man. You're the main reason why I'm here. It's the fans, right? It's the Detroit Lions fans. That's why I'm here. I'm just a fan trying to do a good justice for fans, because I got sick of the negative energy, and I've told everyone this story. After I woke up after cancer surgery, it was something telling me I had to go do something different with my life, and that's really why I'm here, to follow my passions, my dreams, to do the things that I wanted to do, and that's why I'll never understand the haters out there and the shit that they say or do. If they don't know my story, then I would give them a pass. But if they do know my story, then they are probably the biggest scum of the earth. Think about that. You're going to trash a cancer survivor that has done nothing to you. Think about that. Think about that. You cast the first stone months ago, buddy. Not you, Will, but you know what I'm talking about. So those are the first two spots to go to the 53. So with Tim Patrick traded and then two guys coming in, we dropped from 50 to 49, then back up to 50, 51. And then later on in the day, Lions made some more moves, obviously starting with the practice squad. These are the guys that I thought were going to make the squad today. Defensive lineman, Miles Adams. That was a lock. Offensive line, Tristan Colon. And the way I separated these were my vets and then my under 2 years. The reason why that's important is you can only have 6 guys that are vets. And when they're vets, you can, like I said, you can only have 6. They don't have to sign with anybody. They can sign with anybody, who they want. And that's where I always talk about the handshake deal. And I hear a ton of people talking about the handshake deal now. And I think that people are starting to understand it's real. It happens. This is what good relationships do for you. And good relationships build a great team. Dan Campbell is building an incredible good team because of the relationships that he has. The relationships that he makes with these guys. That's why you see Dan so emotional, right? He gets so emotional over his players, whether it's at the podium after a game or right before cuts, because Dan loves these dudes and he invests so much into these guys that he wants to see them all win, and he doesn't want any of them to have to get cut, right? But it's these really good relationships like TK85 that, like, he knows, man, as long as he shows up in shape and puts his head down, maybe someday he'll make a roster, right? Maybe someday. But if not, he's got a place because the Lions know, Dan knows, Brad knows his heart, right? And how much he wants it and how much this team matters to him. That's why he works so hard. So Miles Adams, Tristan Colon, Tom Kennedy, and Anthony Pittman, all locks that I called today, and they all came back. Netani Moody. Now, I didn't see if he got picked up anywhere. And I haven't seen if he's back in Detroit. I haven't in the last couple of hours because I got back and kind of been out of it for a little bit, trying to get some things done, working on other stuff. So if he got picked up, then he won't be back. If he didn't get picked up, then there's a possibility that he could still be back. The one thing that I did on my Twitter post, which I had some issues with my Twitter today. In the very beginning, I was posting things, and I think it's just because I was at Ford Field. I was posting things, and they wouldn't post. But then a half hour later, it would try to post, and then I would accidentally delete it. In my very first rendition of this today, I left one spot open, and then I filled that spot with Nick White. I think it was Nick Whiteside Lauren Strickland. I filled that spot with Lauren Strickland. In the last minute, I made some changes. And Brodric Martin, I threw him on there. So got 5 out of 6 of the vets right. And then we moved down to the 2 years or less. Mitchell Agudi. Keith Cooper, man. I'm so ecstatic about having Keith Cooper back in this house. I'm so ecstatic having this guy on the team, man. Eric Hallett. I didn't think he did enough to make the roster, but I think he did enough to make the practice squad, as you can see. Nate Lynn is probably the biggest surprise for me. I don't know about you guys. Thank you, Joseph. Much appreciated. Joseph C. Dollar Super Chat, man. I see the comment in there. You're a real one, Will. I appreciate it. I try to be real, man. That's what it's all about. You guys are the real ones. Justin. Oh, man, dude. I'm sorry, Justin. That's tough, man. That's super tough. See, this is why I do it, man. See, I'll get emotional just reading stuff like that. because I know what cancer did to me and my family, and I know what it's doing to yours. It's the other reason why I'm here, man. I'm trying to make a difference with Rockhound Cancer Foundation. It's going to take some time, but we'll get there. I know I'll get there. That's why I just keep working hard every day. And I try to put out good karma, man. So anyway, Nate Lynn, huge surprise. This guy was probably the hardest worker in practices that I went to, in the games. I mean, you guys witnessed it. And hell, we just talked about it the other day. He had some of the best grades, I want to say, out of all of the defensive linemen. And what did he do wrong? Like, what did he seriously do wrong? I don't know. I really don't know. And you see in this chat right now, if you see in this chat, how great people are immediately, man. It's all Lions, but it's all family too. It's all family in here. Really good people. Really, really good people in this chat. So Nate Lynn's a mind boggler, man. I don't get it. Brodric Martin, look, I was hopeful. Right? I was hopeful, and then the fact that he went to KC, honestly, he doesn't have a better opportunity than in KC. When you think about KC's defense, they use a bigger nose tackle, right? They have a bigger guy in the middle. So he might have a good opportunity. And it makes me think a little bit deeper. My dad and I are having some conversation as we were going back and forth today. And this was from my dad. A big shout out to you too, Krista, man. I can't believe Nate Lynn didn't make it, rooting for his future. There you go. Big ups to you, Krista. Saw you in the chat today too. So my dad had a good thought on this too, is hey, maybe he'll be able to excel, obviously have a better opportunity in Kansas City. He won't be up front, he's got to last, but he'll have some new, some new sheets on the bed, so to speak, right? Fresh opportunity, new faces, kind of gets to start over. Any bad imagery that was kind of following him around in Allen Park, any of those dark clouds that seemed to follow him around just because he couldn't put it together, banged up knee, fell to the depth chart and just couldn't rise up. That stuff goes away. He gets a new opportunity to start over. And quite honestly, his body type, his body size, that style of a defense in Kansas City, it could be a good mix. Now, if he's given enough time, and that's the key, if he's given enough time, then he'll be great. It's something, whether it's rotation or maybe a starter someday. And I say someday because remember what I said the other day in about Zidarius Smith and Trey Hendrickson. Neither one of those guys were great football players in year 2 or year 3. They were great football players in year 4 and beyond. I mean, I think Zidarius was year 4 and beyond. I think Trey Hendrickson was year 4 and beyond. One of them had 8.5 sacks, I think, in the 3rd year. That might have been Z. But then the next year had a down year. Jackson Meeks, man, I am, again, another guy I'm ecstatic to see back. He definitely did enough. I can't believe that he didn't make the roster over Dominic Lovett. So what I'd mentioned to my dad in the car today was there must be something that he's doing, Dominic Lovett, in practice that we're not seeing. So the practices that we're not at, the practices that they're doing indoors, the meeting rooms, right? He must be doing something that Jackson Meeks is not. Because what Jackson Meeks did, for a display of his ability and the fact of how good he can catch the football, he's in the right spot at the right time, he's making good decisions, doesn't drop the football, right? Doesn't get the football taken away from him, doesn't allow an interception. Those are all the things that Dominic Lovett's doing, and he made the roster. So maybe the Lions felt that Dominic Lovett wouldn't have made it through the waivers. and that Jackson Meeks would. Kind of interesting to think about it that way, right? Big shout out to you, Major Payne, $5 super chat. It says, I can't believe Ezekiel Turner is on the team in front of Nate Lynn. Now, Turner's on IR right now, so he's not necessarily on the team. He's on IR. Big shout out to you, man. Appreciate the $5 super chat. So technically he's on, right? But if he come, when he's healthy. Now, was he IR? Was he IR season ending? Hold on. I think he was. Let me get my other notes up. Yeah, it was suspected an Achilles tendon, right? Achilles tear. So he's on the reserve injured list. And he's considered out for the season. So that's the quick notes. He suffered what appeared to be a torn Achilles in the final game versus the Texans. Dan Campbell called it a significant injury. Team didn't formally place him on injury reserve yet, and then they did before cuts. I'm almost positive they put him on IR before cuts. So you're right, though. I mean, technically, yeah, he's on IR. So that's official. That's official. All right. Michael Niese or Nice, I don't know how you really pronounce his last name. Is it Nies or Niese or Nice? Michael, whatever. I wasn't surprised that he was coming back. Again, all these locks, that was my practice squad prediction. And I got all of them right, like I said, but Nick Whiteside, which I was really surprised, and Brodric, Martin, and Nate Lynn. However, we do have one spot open. So there's only 15 guys here. And you notice 1, 2, 3, there's only 4 vets. Right? Unless I'm missing something, there's only 4 vets. I don't think Goody's not 3 or more or 4 or more. Keith Cooper's definitely not. Hallett's not. Matt Meeks is not. Sailors isn't. Strickland's not. Uku shouldn't be. Yeah, so the rest of these guys are 2 or less. Anyway, I was a bit surprised. I was a bit surprised that we had one open spot. So what are the Lions trying to do? Are they trying to sign somebody to the immediate 53 since there is that open spot? And then will they go back down, or what are they trying to do? Are they still looking for somebody to sign? I mean, I guess we'll find out. The question came in earlier, or a statement, I guess, earlier is, why do we have an open spot on the 53? Right? So there you go. Bob W., last spot for quarterback 3. That's exactly it for the practice squad is QB3. But on the roster, at least that's what I was thinking too. On the roster, that open spot, I think, is Josh Paschal. I know a lot of you are thinking Zidarius Smith. And I don't want to come off like a pompous jerk about Zidarius Smith. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't see how it would make any sense right now when you have to get Josh Paschal back, right? You need. Now, Dan said a month ago that they thought that he was going to be back before September. And then it was supposed to be maybe before that Monday before, the Monday before cuts. This past Monday. It was what I thought it was going to happen. And then on Monday, I think, was it Dan said, no, it's going to be a little bit longer. But we still have 2 weeks before week 1, right? We have 2 weeks before week 1. So he could still be back before that date. Doesn't mean that he's going to play, in the Packers game. He could be a scratch, which would probably happen. But he probably won't be out for another 4 weeks after that, right? So you pretty much have 6 weeks before, putting Josh Paschal on some sort of an IR would have made sense before cuts. The Lions left all their IRs open. So I'm pretty confident that last spot is Josh Paschal. Pretty confident. J-Rod, you didn't miss much, buddy. You didn't miss much. Joseph C., what are you talking about? They did pick up Patrick. Which Patrick? You're talking about Tim Patrick. He was traded. He was traded this morning. What is Major Payne saying? Detroit football, that's mine. That's not clickbait, buddy. Major Payne, he says it's not Will's heading, it's the Detroit Football Clickbait Journal. No. Detroit Football Journal is me. I own this. This is mine. I don't do clickbait, buddy. Is that what you meant? Do I think that we'll regret shipping Patrick out? No, I don't. I really don't, J-Man. I think that, I wouldn't have said that I felt that Tim Patrick was trade bait before the fact. Here, let me get out of this now. You guys have seen everybody that is on the roster and who isn't. I guess before I answer that, they'll just go through the last couple. Jacob Sailors, super smart move. Obviously the guy did what he did in the UFL, and we could see what he did in preseason. Lawrence Strickland has been a constant, and Ukwu, obviously we needed depth. I got all those right. I missed a couple, so it was a great day for me. And honestly, I think it's this right here, right? I think it's the fact that I can do all this being an independent and get this many right and get a ton right on the roster too. I think I was 42-8 because they went with 50 and not 53. That's a pretty damn good record. Back-to-back years. I think last year I hit 48 out of 53 or 52, whatever we kept on the outset. But I think it's doing all this, right? I think that this is what might be rubbing some people the wrong way because I get a lot of stuff right and they get a lot of stuff wrong. And it is what it is, man. It's just different for me. I'm trying to have fun with it, and it's passion for me, so maybe that's why they don't like it, or maybe why they don't like me, because honestly, I've never met the dude. Actually, reached out to the dude a long time ago to take him out to dinner. He said he was too busy. I said, no one's too busy to eat. That was over a year ago. Then he turned into an a-hole. So, all right, someone is asking about Patrick getting traded. Do I feel that it was a mistake? No, I don't. I think it's very simple. I think it's very simple for us to understand that Tim Patrick was going to start to lose snaps. He was going to start to lose some snaps because of Isaac Tesla. Like if Isaac Tesla, Major Payne, I don't know, buddy. I don't know which one does all the clickbait. There's so many of them out there. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. But this one's me, man. That's my logo. This is my website. Right? It's all me. If you would like to write, though, by all means, email me, call me, do something. You can write if you'd like to write. I'd love to get some more writers. Trust me, I don't have the time to do it. I love doing it, but I don't have all the time to do it. Yeah, absolutely, Justin. I'm with you, man. All right, back to the question. So, cruising, I see that in there, and it was liquor, not legger. I think I might be a bootlegger. I might be bootlegging some high quality H2O over here. You know, some high quality H2O that when you shake it up, it doesn't have any bubbles in it. Tim Patrick, he was going to lose snaps. Tesla, look, it's going to be hard to keep that kid off the field, man. He's going to be fun to watch. He's going to be very, very fun to watch. So, Tim Patrick, how old is he now? 35, right? I think he's 35. He's got to be getting up there. No, 31. I'm sorry, 31. Do I think that he would have given us a much better year than last year? I do. Am I a little bit disappointed that we won't have a 6'5" Tim Patrick and a 6'4" Tesla on the same play? I am disappointed in that because I think that when you stack the deck like that, there's not many teams that are going to be able to stop you. And if somebody gets injured, you have another guy. So, yeah, some of these moves are head scratchers. You know, but if you could get a 6th-round pick for a 31-year-old receiver, remind me, was it Deebo Samuel that got traded for a 5th recently? Was it Deebo? Who else was traded for a 5th-round pick? Justin, I don't know. Let's look him up. I think J-Mo's only 6'1". Oh, wait. I think Tim Patrick, he signed a 1-year deal with the Lions this year for $2.5 million in March, which included $1.3 million signing bonus. So we handed him a $1.3 million to, be traded. They paid $1.3 million for a 6th-round pick and $2.5 million in guaranteed money. The contract is for the 25 season with a fully guaranteed salary or base salary of $1.255. So yeah, it's not terrible, right? It's not terrible. And the next team would have to take over the contract anyway. The question on J-Mo is J-Mo 6'3". Honestly, I thought he was 6'1". See, he's 6'2". Well, no, there's 2 different listings. There's one that says he's 6'2", and there's one that says he's 6'1". Let's see what NFL says. Hold on here. Just lost my chat. My computer said not enough memory. I've never seen something like that before. This thing has like 128 gigs of memory. What do you mean not enough memory? It's only at 28%. Not even. What's open? Let's see. Is there something open? Okay. All right. Anyway, one says he's 6'2", one says he's 6'1", and get this. NFL.com says he's 6'1.5", right in the middle. So he's just an inch taller than me. Half inch, 3/4 of an inch, whatever. Yeah, there you go, cruising. There you go, man. You may have taxing things running in the background. I could. I mean, I have an RTX 5090 rolling. That thing should have enough memory. My CPU is only at 9%, 10%. Interesting. So you think I need more, J-Man, you must know computers. They mean RAM memory. Oh, you're talking my SSDs? No. They got 8 terabytes in this thing. I'd be surprised. Well, maybe I wouldn't be. Oh, I have 2 terabits left on that one. And half a terabit left on this one. That should be good. USB drive E. What is that? I don't have another drive in here, do I? Huh. That should be good. I don't know. I'll have to dig into it later. Not your storage memory, your RAM processing memory. Yeah, like I said, I got 128 gigs of my memory sticks. They're DDR5 or whatever. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah, it's 128. There's 4 sticks in there. 4 sticks of 32. I don't know. Weird stuff happens, man. I swear. I got gremlins over here all because of Eric ever since he introduced the gremlins. Yeah, I'm not talking about that, Brett. I'm talking about the DDR5 RAM in my PC. I have solid state and then I have RAM. This thing is maxed out. You can't have any more RAM unless you go and buy like a Threadripper, or 2, if you have 2 motherboards going or something, you know what I mean? I've never seen a motherboard with more than 128 that was under $1,000. What am I running? No, I did have the 14900K, but now I have the 9950X 3D AMD chip? It's like it's a badass AMD chip. I went from Intel to AMD. But I'm not a gamer. I'm not a gamer. I know, Trace, that word's banned. I know. But they've been back, man. I wish I was a gamer, man. I'd be flying. I got so much crap over here. I know I shouldn't have any issues. I don't get it either. It's just some days, man. Some days. But anyway, so where were we at? What other questions we wanted to roll through tonight? Any big surprises for anybody? Anybody that you guys think, outside of Josh Pascal, what do you guys think that 53 spot is for? Who's it for? Yeah, that's a good idea. A Rocked On Madden League? What? I'm so behind. I don't even have the fantasy league up. I'm going to stay up all night and get it done tonight. I'll get it done tonight. I promise you. It'll be ready by the morning. It should only take 10 minutes, honestly. And then we will draft this weekend. So I'll put out some times. Eric, if you're listening, I need to create. Here we go. How many teams do we want? 10? We want 10 teams per league? I don't want to go 12. I think that's too many. I think 10 gives you enough players. Do 10 teams? We'll do 3, 4, 5. I don't care how many how many leagues we need to do. We'll have some paid ones and then we'll have free ones. So, did you do 12 leagues last year, Eric? I can't remember. Oh my God, Brent, that is like so ancient. In 1998, was that like a really good PC back then? Yeah, 10 is typical. That's what I usually play with. Yeah, you did 12. Yeah, you got 12-person leagues, man. That's because they're trying to make sure you don't get a stacked team. All right, any info on the lineman we picked up? Honestly, I have not dug into it, so why don't we just do it live? Why don't we just look into I haven't watched, like I said, I haven't watched any video. Nothing. Haven't had a chance to. I was driving, back and forth to Detroit today. And what's this video here? Can you guys hear the audio right now? Doesn't sound like it. I don't think you can. Not me. The other audio that was playing in the background. Okay. So I can't even hear it. Why can't I hear it? Well, that's really odd. I could hear the commercial, but I can't hear the video. How does that happen? Well, whatever. I'll come back to that, I guess. Anyway, Tyler Lacey. Let's see if I can find a little bit. 6'4", 33.25-inch arms. There you go. There's that prototypical size for a defensive lineman. Over 33-inch arms, man. You guys know me by now. That's a staple. 279 pounds, 10 7/8-inch hands. So good mitts, good arms, decent height. I like that 6'3", 6'4". Round 4, pick 28. So he's a 4th-round pick. So we lost the 3rd-round pick in Brodric Martin. We got back a 4th-round pick, right? That's how I look at it. We lost one. We got one back. What did we give up for the guy? Nothing. Why? Because we signed him after he was cut. So he ran a 5'11", 40. Has a 1.72 split. That's not terrible for his size. 28.5-inch vertical jump, 9.8 broad, 7.6 cone. And wow, 30 reps on the bench. Dude's got some strength. And I'm watching some of his college tape now. Okay. Huh. So Lacey was a first-team All-District 10-6A selection his senior year at Satchis High School in Texas before heading to Oklahoma State. He redshirted in 2018 and then started 10 games in 2019. 20 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 PBUs. He missed 3 contests due to an undisclosed injury. He then added 60 pounds. 60 pounds since his senior year of high school, using that bulk to garner honorable mention All Big 12 accolades in 2020 with 32 tackles, 8 tackles for loss. There we go. That's a guy that's getting through the line. And 4 sacks and 11 starts. In 2021, wow, he followed that up with 34 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss with another 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in just 14 starts. He was honorable mention pick in 2022. And then he finished that out with 27 tackles, 8.5 for loss, 3 sacks in 9 starts. He missed the end of the regular season due to another injury. So a little bit of an injury history in college. A little bit of an injury history in college. So here's the overview. He's usually first with his hands. This is before he was drafted. Okay. He was usually first with his hands, but needs to learn to jolt opponents and control the block with more consistently. His block take-on can be a little segmented, and he can be driven off his turf as a 3-tech. But he has the length and athleticism to cause disruption in a one-gapping scheme. Lacey has talent as an interior rusher, but might be better suited as a 5-tech, or get this, a 4-3 base end on early downs. And that's exactly what he's coming in for, as a 4-3 base end. He was projected to go in round 5 by Lance Zierlein. He went in round 4 towards the end of the round, so that's a good call by Lance Zierlein. Weaknesses was upper body power, could use some work, comes off the ball with elevated pad level. Sound like Brodric there. Could use better explosiveness in first contact. Hip tightness limits his sink and anchor. He got worn down, by a physical Kansas State offensive line, and he was uneven in getting from move to move as a rusher. He was below average as a bull rusher with power. So that was before he was drafted, okay? And that was in 2023. So he's had 2023 and 2024 to kind of hold on. Anyway, he had 23 and 24 to kind of reacclimate himself and work with some of the pro level, teachers of the game. So it'd be interesting to see what his tape is now. It's probably going to be a little tough to find it, but just based off of what I read here, it's intriguing to me that, hold on, let me go back. He was a DT. He was suited up as a DT for Jacksonville. I wonder what his current height, weight. Justin, you don't think Z's coming back? I kind of asked that question earlier. What do you guys think? I mean, do you still think that Z's coming back? And see, I mean, look, I'm not against it. So I think some of you guys get me wrong. I'm not against it. What I'm just trying to tell you guys is the facts of what I know and have seen, and what history tells me, and what the MO of Brad Holmes is, which is to make the right moves that are fiscally responsible as well as roster responsible. Bringing Z back after week 1 makes the best sense fiscally. And holy cow, once I get the yawns, man, they don't stop. That's all post-cancer right there. That's what your thyroid does to you. I don't know why. It just does, and it makes my freaking eyes water. But anyway, Tyler Lacey or Zidarius Smith would make more sense later because he's a free agent. He doesn't have to sign with anyone. He can sign whenever he wants. We had a great conversation with Wick on this, and it was so clear to me that he was the poker chip, right? You keep his legs fresh, continue to train, continue to run, and be ready because you might be needed. But if for some reason you're not needed, maybe we can find a way to bring you back towards the end of the season and use you for the playoffs, but get you a couple of games of game action so that you're ready to hit the ground running. The one thing I do worry about is the chemistry. So if he's not in, for the first or the last, 6 games of the year, I would worry about the chemistry because like Z said last year, it took about 3 games, and then things were flowing. They finally learned each other. And I think that's the same thing that we'd have to deal with here again this year. Give it at least 4 games, you know? All right. The Lacey guy. He's still listed at 6'4", 279. So I'll be interested to see where he's at. Let me look up his PFF. I am going to bounce here in just a few minutes. Yeah, I don't know if he wants a 2-year deal. I just think he wants an arm and a leg. And I mean, he wanted 16 million, right? Or that's the balance of his contract. That was for 1 year. Yes, Skipper and Meeks are back. Jeremy. Yes. All right, so Tyler Lacey. Let's look him up in PFF. I have no idea how many snaps he's had. Nothing. Ooh, not the greatest of grades. All right, here he's listed 6'4", 285, 25 years old. And he had 9 pressures last year in 2024. He had 14 tackles. .340 snaps. So he got in about a quarter, to a third of the year. So in 340 snaps, he had 8 stops, 8 hurries, and 9 pressures total, with 14 tackles. What? But his grades suck. Hold the phone here. Okay, you guys remember when I said, when you look at Brad, and I didn't do that. I didn't do this yet this year, so I'll do it. Gosh, what is tomorrow? Thursday? Maybe I can get it done by Friday. Do you remember when I went back and looked at all the guys that we brought in free agency wise? And all the guys that we picked up off other rosters. And if there was a glaring trait by last year's team, and that was like Carlton Davis just went up against all of the teams that we were going to play this year. Right? And that was a huge trait because he wasn't the only one. It was all of the players that we brought in. They just went up against the teams that we were going to play that year. So having familiarity with the teams that you're going to go up against, like our roster didn't have all the familiarity, right? But Carlton Davis brings that experience into that DB room to say, hey, I know something about this guy. I just went up against him last year. And not only did I go up against him, but I went up against him twice because he was a regular opponent for me, divisional opponent. Right, so that was a huge trait, and I'm wondering if we got some guys on the roster now that, like DJ Reed, when did he last play? The roster that we have in front of us. How often and how well did he do? So I'm going to look at that. I want to see. Like where we are, because for this guy. Coming from Jacksonville, I'd have to go back and look at their schedule. But we don't have the NFC South this year. Right? No, we don't. AFC South. Sorry, AFC South. We don't have the AFC South this year, but I want to take a look at the schedule to see who he played, because last year, he went up against Green Bay twice last year. No, I'm sorry, he went up against Green Bay. He went up against Detroit. So that's where the Lions got a good look at him, was against Detroit. He went up against Houston, Tennessee, the Jets, the Raiders, the Vikings, the Eagles, obviously the Colts, the Patriots, Houston, Buffalo, Miami. So he went up against some pretty damn good teams and some teams that we're going to be playing this year. So he has history, right? He understands. He's young, but he has history. So that's the kind of stuff I look at, man. I know I'm weird like that when I look at things that are off the wall. But again, that's what separates me from everybody else, is because I try to look at things that nobody else is looking at. I don't want to print the same stuff that somebody else is printing. He did have a couple of good games. Against Buffalo, he got in 28 snaps, 70 overall on defense, 69 against the run, 67 tackle. Against Green Bay, he had a 70 overall defense, 63.9 against the run, 70.6, and his tackling's great. Like, he's averaging a 66.5, but he had one poop game against Houston. Like, one terrible game against Houston. So I'm going to throw that game out, and he's averaging closer to a 70, probably a 70 even, which is really good, honestly, for a guy that's this young. Now, in the game against Green Bay, he had 2 pressures, a hurry, a hit, and a tackle, and 3 assists. So he had 11 assists in that game. No, he didn't. That was a lie. He had 3 assists in that game. He had 11 overall, 14 on the season. Minnesota, he had 3 pressures against. Buffalo, he had a pressure. Houston, he had a pressure. The Jets, he had a pressure. He only had 9 pressures on the year, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. All right, let's look up the other guy real quick. So Stain Vision, I was just talking about this new guy, Tyler Lacey. And why is this other guy not showing up? What the world? It's Tyus Wheat, right? Wheat. Maybe he's got a different name. And Tyus is just his... Tyrus Wheat, not Tyus. Am I the only idiot calling him Tyus? I could have sworn it was... Here, I better edit my article. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Man, there's one thing I'm really bad at with this new phone. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I can't text. It's like I've got all thumbs, and I don't know why autocorrect gets me all the time. This is not an autocorrect thing. This is just me spelling it wrong. All the time spelling crap wrong. All the time. And that just looks terrible. I hate that. I used to always have a rule that I would never do business with somebody if they spelled something wrong on a contract or in an email. But I don't know. That's how I always taught my people too. I'm always keyed in on that. But when you're flying trying to get stuff out, sometimes it gets you. It's not an excuse, though. Okay. All right, 6'2", 260. So a little bit on the smaller side. Drafted in 2023 as well. Out of Mississippi State. 4.65 speed. I mean, that's not bad. 4.65? It's not terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He also played Detroit last year, obviously. So there's something that Brad obviously picked up on these guys. He did not have a great game against the Lions. He had one pressure. He had one hit, or one hurry, excuse me. 2 tackles, and an assist in the game against us. Not a very highly graded game for him. His tackling is really good. So that's a common theme with these guys, is their tackling is really good. But overall, grades aren't great. 165 snaps last year. So very low on the rotation. But here's what I'll say. You know, just like everything else, he's going to be entering his 3rd season. And we've seen some other guys that have turned out to be really good that didn't start to get good until their 3rd season or their 4th season. So, Riley's in the house, man. How's it going? So we'll see what happens with these guys. So Riley came in just in time for me to get out. Riley, you take it from here. I'm out of here. All right. So I am going to leave, though. I do got to get some rest tonight and get back at it in the morning. And we'll talk more about this stuff. I will try to grab some information if I can tonight, but I am just elated that number 70 is eligible.
If he had to make the playoffs, maybe.
Is an eligible receiver. Number 70 is eligible. Number 70 is eligible.
So welcome back, Skip. I'm glad to see you back, man. I hope you stick around the whole season. That dude deserves anything and everything that's coming to him. And I'm hoping it's a Super Bowl ring, because that's what we're going to be talking about next. Is, can this Detroit Lions team take it the distance? And I think that they can. And I think that they will. And I hope that they do, so that all of the SOL fans out there can finally turn a new page. Right? You just want to get the one. Now, I'm going to hold that to you. Right? You've been saying this whole time, we just need one. Just one in my lifetime. We just need one. Well, I want more than one. But if we get one, y'all better shut the hell up and start rooting for your team. Man, it's okay to be critical. It's okay to have an opinion, because we all have them. But man, does it get negative out there. These guys are listening to you. Don't forget that. They're hearing your crap. I did ask somebody a question today. I'm not going to say who it was, but let's just say they're part of the organization. I said, so is my podcast on the hit list? And he said, no, not yours. But there could be some other ones. And I said, well, that's good. I said, so people know. And they, oh yeah. But you're not on the hit list. So that was good. That was good. Oh, I was glad to hear that. Doesn't mean I can't get there, but I don't plan to be. We'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good night. Hopefully the audio is better when I go back and listen. I made a few adjustments before I got on tonight, but let's get to the Super Bowl next, man. That's what I want to talk about. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll start to do some previews, and man, first week is just around the corner, right? I'm already planning, who's going to go the first week. My dad, me, Megan, fly the kids up, and let's watch Ben Johnson cry, man. This tonight was the first time I've seen my dad just like agitated about Ben Johnson. My dad doesn't get that way at all, but he's like, man, I really hope that we just steamroll those guys. And I said one thing further. I said, I want to see one thing. It would just make me so happy if we could just run roughshod all over the Bears. Like, I want to see Jameer and David drop 300 on those guys. Drop 300, right? I don't care about a 50 burger as much as I care of a double-digit win that, by convincing fashion. I would be happier if the Lions scored 10 points and the Bears scored none, but we just ran the ball all night and never gave them the ball back. That's what I want to see. I want to hurt them that bad. I hate the Bears. Like that rivalry just got amplified levels upon levels. That's what I want to see. I want to see us run the ball. Just run the damn ball. And yes, Packers preview is coming up. I think Riley got a lot of his work in on it already, so he'll be ready for that too. All right, y'all. You guys have a good night, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll be back at it, the Rise and Grind Morning Show at 8 a.m. And season's here. Now it's go time. We're less than 2 weeks away. So we'll see you guys there. Take care. Go in pride. Adios.